I'm using a paint that's the same as what I've got on the ceiling, which is a white color. And I'm using a clear mixing glaze. And I use about 3 parts mixing glaze, 1 part paint. I come on and I skip spaces, and I go up, and I come down. And like I say, I'm just kind of skipping spaces here and there. And I also want to make sure that I'm random here, because when this stuff dries, if I do an entire area like a box, you'll be able to see boxes when you're all done. So if you do it random like that, you don't see these sections that you've done. And I've got this 5-gallon bucket of water and this big brush, which I dip in each time, and I try to get a fair amount of water off of it. Most people make when they do this, is they try to put too big of an area at one time. Now also you can do too small of an area, and the stuff doesn't dry up enough on it. So, you know, you got to play with it. I do random angles all over the place. And I leave hollow spots here and there. And the trick is trying to be random with it. And I come over here and do this. Now the reason, this serves a couple purposes. It spreads that paint out so that it starts to dry on me. Because if it doesn't dry, I can't get good texture to it. So now as it's like this, it's drying. It actually dries pretty fast. Paint will dry on your walls if, you know, the temperature is decent and stuff. It'll dry in 5 or 10 minutes. So this is what I got. It's kind of just a random mess. And then the next step, I just do this too. And this is random. I don't want to do it in any one spot. I just want to do it randomly as the paint is drying. And I want to leave some brush strokes. I want to see some hollow spots here and there. I want to maybe hit the hollow spots once or twice with the brush like this. And then I'll hold it at an angle and kind of push it in and experiment with it. Because the worst case scenario is it turns out horrible, you don't like it, so you've wasted 30, 40, 50 bucks worth of paint. You just repaint the whole wall, and it's not like you damaged anything. And you just dump that back in the water, get some more paint, and then I'll do this section. And just play with it. It's all random. Blah, 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 blah. So what? You make a mess. That's what it's all about. Give it about a day, at least 24 hours, 36 hours or so, because it actually changes. It has a subtle change to it, and softens up and blends. So you've got to give it a little bit of time before you. Now, I've got 2 colors. This is my second color, and I've got some downstairs. I've got just the same method that I've used, and I use 3 colors of paint, or in some cases I'll use 4 colors of paint. And I may, if I want it real subtle, I'll go ahead and even mix more glaze in with it. But that's the method. Now what I'm going to do with this one is, my wife wanted a metal, copper metal patina to it. The next step that I'm going to do with that copper metal patina is I'm going to use a rag, and I'm going to wipe it on. And if I wipe it over this here, before this is dried enough, I'll actually be wiping off the surface that I've already put on, and I don't want to do that. But that's the method, you just keep doing it. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm working on the last wall actually. Now the reason I got masking up on the ceiling is I actually used an airless paint sprayer yesterday to put the main coat. Okay, I'm putting on the final coat of the metal patina I was talking about. This is called metal patina glaze. It says copper. And then I take this, and there again I mix it with about, I put maybe anywhere from 50 to 75% glaze in that. So that's only 25% roughly. I use this system here, and there's no real set pattern. Now if your towel is too dry, then it will scrub on the walls and it won't lay the stuff out. And I'm just putting a sheen over it. When it dries, it looks very, very neat. So, I've got my towel ready, and I just go over the whole thing, and it doesn't look like I'm doing anything because it's so thin, but since I've got texture on the walls that is like plaster work, this metal patina stuff sits in the crevices and brings out depth to where it makes it look like it's 1,000 years old or something. It just kind of looks cool. And I don't need to do it too much, but I gotta get, that's the method. And also, if you look on this wall over here, the white that I put on it is almost like it's too white, and the background is almost too dark, and they don't blend with each other. And then when you come over here, after this dries more, now this looks like everything blends. Everything starts coming out the way you want it to, and it's got a three-dimensional look to it. I see a little ridge right here, whereas here I can't really see it. And if it's really a bright white, because I left a lot on there, this takes care of that bright and makes it a little more subtle. And when the light's on it just bright too, when you look across it after it's dry, it's got that metal flake, not metal flake, but it's got that shininess to it also. It looks really cool. Anyways, that's the method. Pretty simple.